In this video, we are going to be making dorayaki. This is the book I always recommend as the start here book for Japanese cuisine from a Western perspective. It really sort of just teaches the basics and gives you some of the really classic recipes like this, or like just teriyaki chicken or other simple things like that. So definitely pick that one up if you're interested in getting into Japanese cooking. Dorayaki is a dessert, sort of a street food dessert, and if you are an anime fan, it is the favorite dessert of Doraemon, which is a classic anime about a robotic cat that travels from the 22nd century back in time to help a boy. And if you see Doraemon, you'll instantly recognize him if you pay attention to anime. So definitely check out the anime too, not that I need to plug that. But what it essentially is a honey-spiced pancake sandwich. You can see these layers here and the way it puffs up into that sort of double dome shape. And it's filled with sweet red bean paste. And I will say, unnecessarily so, a lot of my friends and coworkers and family kind of are like, ew, bean paste. But the best analogy I can come up with to it is almost like sweet potato puree with like honey in it. That is what it tastes like. Don't be afraid of it. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make it, but you can also just buy it. And if you buy it, this recipe becomes really easy. It's basically making pancakes and putting it in a sandwich. So let's go ahead and get started. I think you guys are going to really like this one. To get started, we're going to make homemade red bean paste. You can buy this from Asian markets, so you don't have to make your own. And if you do buy it from a market, it makes this recipe super simple and easy. But I like to make my own whenever possible, and luckily making red bean paste is really easy. So we're just going to take a cup of Azuki beans, which you can also get at Asian supermarkets pretty easily or online. I'll put a link in the description. And we're just going to soak them in water for about 8 hours. I'm going to actually double up this recipe because I'm going to be making this for a bunch of friends of mine. So 2 cups of Azuki beans. I've drained the now soaked Azuki beans, and we're just going to add them to a stock pot and cover them with enough water to add about 2 inches above where the beans are. And now we're just going to bring that to a boil and let that cook for at least 50 minutes or until the beans get soft enough that you can mush them up with a spoon or with your hands. Now we're just going to add sugar to our prepared red beans in a food processor and blend this together until it becomes a smooth paste. I've heated up half a cup of canola oil, and now we're just going to put this paste into this oil, and we're going to fry it for about 8 to 10 minutes, and it will darken up quite a bit while this is going on. You can see as the bean paste is cooking on the stove, the oil will incorporate into the mixture, and you'll end up with this wonderfully silky smooth bean paste. So this has still got about another 5 minutes of cook time, and I'm going to let that go. But once this is done, you can go ahead and remove it to a separate container and set it aside and let it cool back to room temperature before we use it in the rest of the recipe. Now we're going to make the dorayaki cake batter. So I've got 8 eggs here, and we're going to add the sugar as well as some honey. And we're just going to whisk all of that together until it gets fluffy. All right, the mixture is nice and frothy. So now we're going to add 2 level cups of all-purpose flour. And we're going to mix this until it gets incorporated. Before we chill the batter, I did forget one thing, which is baking powder. Do not forget this yourself, or it will not bubble up and puff up the way you want it to when it hits the griddle. So we're just going to give this a quick toss here to get that baking powder nice and incorporated. You can see how thick this batter is too. And once the baking powder is fully incorporated, then go ahead and take this and refrigerate it. I've heated the skillet to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and so this is what you want your batter to look like. It should be thicker than pancake batter, so add half a teaspoon of water at a time until you get to the consistency you see right here. And so I'm using a tablespoon-sized ice cream scoop to get an even amount of batter each time I scoop up. And I'm going to make these just 2 at a time here. But this way you'll get identically sized pancakes for each side of your dorayaki, since this is like a little sandwich. And you want to make sure you keep a layer of oil, a thin layer of oil on your griddle at all times. So periodically you're going to want to spray with cooking spray or just grease it with whatever oil you have on hand. You want it to be a very, very thin layer though. Now, you'll know it's time to flip your pancake when you start to see bubbles coming through. So we're going to go ahead and flip this one. Beautiful. Look at that browning. And now we'll do the other one. Perfect. This is exactly the sort of browning with the white layer underneath it. It won't take as long to cook on the other side because it's now partially cooked through. So the other way you'll know you're doing things right here, and you can kind of see it, and I will pull one of these up so you can really see, is you should get a nice little dome forming here. You see that? That means it's puffed up and it's cooked correctly. So once that's happened, you can go ahead and remove them and do your next set of pancakes until you've used up all of your batter. To make each dorayaki, it's very easy. It's just a pancake sandwich, basically. So we're just going to get a little bit of our red bean paste and put it in the middle. And you want to sort of draw it to the edges so that the paste is thicker in the middle. And then get another pancake and sort of press down on the edges to seal that in and create sort of a flying saucer type shape. And voila! Now you've got a completed dorayaki, looking just like one from your favorite anime or TV show, or one if you've seen them in street food in Japan. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and plate these up, and I'll see you guys at the finale. And here are the completed dorayaki. So you can see if you're handing these out, the individual ones will look like a little flying saucer. They should get that nice domed shape to them when they're sealed together. I also cut one open so you can see what the inside looks like. Nothing too fancy, it's just a pancake sandwich with this red bean paste filling on the inside. I will say the honey really shines through. It is not simply pancake batter. The flavor on that is really subtle, but really good. So hopefully I made Doraemon proud, and I really encourage you to try Japanese street food. I know a lot of people really just kind of think of sushi and rolls and udon and ramen and bento boxes, but there's so much more to Japanese cuisine. So check out the Just One Essentials series. That's also really good. Check out some of my other Japanese videos, like my Battleship Curry, or like my classic old school OG curry. And if you enjoy my videos in general, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.